Welcome to the Homegrown Hunter TV. We're heading to the turkey woods with my good friend Dave Best to see if we can get our hands on one of these gobblers. I'm also bringing along my wife Selena to join in the fun.
Good job.
Here, bring it.
Welcome to another great season of the Homegrown Hunter.
Nice shot.
Good girl.
He's great.
He's gone! It was in the boat, that counted.
Rock and roll, baby.
Homegrown Hunter TV is brought to you by Rackstacker, Canada's leader in big game attractants. Campbellford Chrysler, a small town dealer with a huge inventory. Huckabones Equipment, Ottawa Valley's Kubota dealer. Bishop Lake Outdoors. First Place Trailers. Kent Cartridge Canada. Nature of Design Signs and Graphics. And these other fine sponsors.
I can't believe that works out like that. Everything close. You like it close, do you?
Yeah, close. You can see, count the feathers on their back.
Okay. That's what I see, like sitting here. You could have a group roosted there, you could have a group over here, you could have a group over there, behind us it's fields. It just boom, 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 boom. Holy Christ, here we go. A lot of times too, Steve, you'd be sitting here, you'll see something there. Oh, what the hell is that? Oh, it's a coyote. No. Oh, look at that, it's a deer. 5 or 6 deer will just come dun, 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 dun. You go in there.
Yeah.
See, I had an idea, buddy. They're gonna come right through there. Now they're in our field now.
They're coming.
Yeah.
Oh, they're bucks, man.
Good. They got velvet or what?
Yep.
Here he comes.
This week's Tech Tip is brought to you by Banks Outdoors, distributed in Canada by Rackstacker.
One of the reasons why I get a big bag of the mineral from you is I keep a sight going here, plus at my house. So we go through a fair bit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or do you do, what do you do, 10 or 15 pounds in the spring and then a bit more in the fall?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
There's lots of water down there for them, as you can tell by the trees and stuff, right? It's all cedar bush.
Yeah. And that's where those bucks are headed right to it.
Yeah. There's a huge swamp, like south of that bush lot, there's a huge swamp. And there's some, like I said, the biggest deer I ever saw came from the south of the, like to my stand, right? Oh, it was just massive. Yeah, there are 2 hands.
I was gonna say, I don't see any beards.
Tom is strutting.
Is he?
Oh yeah, buddy. He's coming in, Steve. He's coming in. We got 1, 2, 3. We got one guy, he's an athlete. He's running. He's going for
He's an athlete.
He's coming in.
His head is almost white.
Oh, it's beautiful. I've never seen such a beautiful thing in my life.
Closed captioning has been brought to you by the original portable winch. Compact, lightweight, and can be carried anywhere.
Dave Best has been a longtime customer of Rack Stacker, and over the years of chatting with him, we became very good friends. He invited me out a few years back to go turkey hunting, however we weren't able to make it happen. This time, it proved perfectly as he had lots of birds for us to see. Dave owns a business called Best Wood Carpentry. He takes a lot of pride in his woodwork and even extends that pride into making turkey calls. I encourage you to check out his website if you're interested in having some custom turkey calls made, as these are absolutely beautiful and they work great.
I don't know if he realizes that's our 30-yard marker.
As it turns out, all the birds had gone to our left, but Tom had followed that hen he was with right underneath the fence of the neighbor's property. So we packed our gear and headed to another chunk of land that Dave had permission on.
This certainly isn't your traditional turkey hunting blind, but Dave and I were heading back to the truck because we hadn't heard anything. Well, we got back to this bus. So we're sitting in this bus with windows down and the back door open. We're gonna try and shoot this gobbler. There he is, right there. He's not far, so hopefully it works out. This is gonna be the coolest story. There he is. I'm gonna take him. Right. Focus, Dave. Okay, kill him. I got him. Here comes a quad. Oh no, the quad. He's right there, he's right there. See him? Yeah, I see him. Right there. I don't see him. I don't have eyes on him. He's got his head up. Oh, he just went down. Oh, you're kidding me. There's your neighbor. Oh, man.
The Tacticam Reveal is the official trail camera of the Rack Stacker Elite staff and the Homegrown Hunter TV because they're reliable. If you want to get into accessories, you can check out rackstacker.ca and get them right across Canada.
That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. This gobbler was right here by these bales, or inside of a bus. The gobbler comes out, cuts through these trees, and like within 5 seconds of the bird showing up, the neighbor rides up on a four-wheeler.
That's not, yeah.
Our neighbor
I
or
don't know
some.
who that is. I have no idea who that is.
That was a nice
I was gonna take him, buddy. There's no question. He was definitely a shooter. Whew, still a bit high on that one.
We're in a bus.
So that's why you turkey hunt, because it just ups the R value.
This is what we're hunting out of. And that gobbler was coming up to her and come in somewhere around here. There, in the back end of that bus. Close.
And now, this week's Cut to the Chase segment, brought to you by Rack Stacker.
One thing that Dave certainly loves to do is entertain his guests. He was preparing one of his favorite meals with wild turkey. You can do this at home with one of your favorite spices, tenderize the meat, and let it air dry. You will then want to dredge the turkey breast in a beaten egg mixture. David prepared a flour mixture with his favorite spices and evenly coated the turkey breast. You want to preheat your favorite oil in a pan so you can pan fry the turkey breast for a few minutes on each side until golden brown. After frying all the pieces of turkey, you can lay them out on a tray, prepared for a tomato sauce that is homegrown. His lovely wife Violet had prepared a tomato sauce from the garden. She's applying mozzarella cheese and parmesan to each piece and putting in the oven to be prepared for dinner. You can have this with your favorite sides, as simple as that. After returning home one morning while sleeping in, my wife ran downstairs and gave me a swat out of bed and said there was a gobbler in the front field. I quickly grabbed my turkey vest and headed for my deer stand, knowing that the turkeys love to be in that food plot location that I've planted for years. So I'm sitting in my deer stand overlooking a food plot that had been previously sprayed for this coming season. They loved strutting there. We'll see what happens. This Tom was putting on a show. However, because I had set up without a decoy, he had no idea where the sounds were coming from. I had to make a decision on whether or not I wanted to shoot that distance, and I was very confident in the shells I was using. I chose that if he wasn't going to come any closer, I was going to take the shot. right outside. I grabbed my Badlands vest, literally threw my clothes on, ran into my food plot here where I knew they like to be, had 2 gobblers. And this guy put on one heck of a show. Thanks to the Hen TK7s. Wow. The boys will be happy at the shop today.
And now, this week's Cut to the Chase segment, brought to you by Rackstacker.
That was an awesome hunt. Whew, it happened fast. Wife woke me up. Come down to this Sweet Success plot. Now it is patchy because I sprayed it not long ago. But got this tom out of my deer blind actually. Nice bird. Maybe 2 years old, I guess. 3/4 inch spurs. But the cool thing is when I ran down here, and I'm not sure whether or not the camera caught it, but the camera was still rolling when I come down here to get my bird. And you might have seen another bird, not the tom, another hen, fly out across the screen, and I thought I'd show you what I found. Obviously, when a hen jumps out of a fence line, you know what you're gonna find. But this is super cool. This is a spot that I've been cleaning up and cutting trees back over the years, creating a lot of lower cover for both rabbits, grouse, birds, turkeys, obviously. And look what I found. Isn't that cool? She's got a nice little cubby here. Lots of big down trees. And that right there just goes to show why it's so important to do timber stand improvement. Now it still needs to be cut again. It's been 2 or 3 years. But I cleared this fence line out to open up the sunlight to the food plot and to create lower cover. And it's doing its job. The Homegrown Hunter TV. I'm your host, Steve Elmy. Thanks for joining us, folks. We're having a blast. As with any hunter, it's going to pique your curiosity to see what happens with this nest. So I didn't have to go down there and bug her all the time, and of course I wanted to do my food plot, but I chose not to, and I was going to wait. I put a reveal trail camera on the video and sent pictures to my phone through the app program, so then that way I don't have to be down there and I can still see what's going on. I was more interested to know when the eggs were going to hatch, so then that way I can get back to work on my food plots. But as you can see, I got some pretty cool footage, and if you look close, you can now see some chicks. The chicks started to hatch somewhere around June 6th in the early part of the morning, and by the looks of things, all of them were hatched by around 12 o'clock. So it took 5 to 6 hours for all of them to hatch. And Mama was doing a great job of rolling those eggs around and keeping them warm. Pretty cool to see after this time. I was excited as I watched the photos of her coming and going, feeding in the food plot, and returning back to her nest to be a good mom. Later on that day, we were getting a bunch of rain and it was going to be a cool night. Luckily, Mom kept them under her wing and kept them warm. However, it wasn't until I seen this where I started to get really irritated because it was 1:45 in the morning and not good for these chicks to be loose. The next video was very disturbing. And I'm going to tell you right now that I will be protecting these chicks going forward by doing my part in predation control. I knew there was raccoons in the area. I should have done something a little earlier about it, but I didn't think they were going to get bothered. Of course, it was the first night they were hatched, and now this happened. The reveal trail camera kept us informed of what was going on, but I did see the chicks and Mom not long afterwards foraging in the food plot, and they were all healthy. Trying to get ahead of these birds. We counted 11 in the field, so we're trying to run and gun them. There's a big wheat field ahead of us. My wife Slade and I headed back to Dave Best's property back in Aurelia at the end of the season to see if we can get his tag filled. We spotted some jakes about 300 yards away, and Dave was confident that he could call them in from that distance. I told him to give her, and this is a true testament of how well his calls work. He called them right into shooting range.
It's all illegal because he's on this side of the electric fence, right?
Yeah.
By a
So
foot and a
that's what
half.
happens when you abide by the rules.
Yep.
Just patience, man. There you are. At least we got some dinner now.
While we're narrowing down to the months too.
Peace, Antler. The rope been drilled.
And your friend made that?
My buddy gave it to me, yeah. He made them.
That's
There you go.
done deal.
Up and over the shoulder.
Rock and roll, baby. Thanks for joining us on the Homegrown Hunter TV.
Make sure you check out Dave's calls.
Until next time.
For past episodes, be sure to check out hghtv.ca. Until next time.